Ohio State's 124th season unfolds with fans believing it's Pasadena or bust. A national championship expectation hangs in the air, but Buffalo is the first rung on the ladder. Urban Meyer is anxious to unveil an improved Braxton Miller, a rebuilt defense, and a freshman class loaded with talent. This is Saturday in the Shoe, and this is the Football Fever.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Football Fever. Along with former Ohio State All-American defensive end Matt Finkes, I'm Douglas Sells. Clay Hall and Obi Stillwell will join us from outside Ohio Stadium in just a few moments. And the hype surrounding Urban Meyer's second season certainly justified, Matt. In his second season at Utah, the Utes, oh, by the way, went undefeated. Second season at Florida, they win the national championship. And when you consider what Meyer did with this Buckeyes team in his first season, how can you not expect a run for a national championship?
I think everyone is looking for that right now. I mean, the way the schedule sets up, the experience that you have back on the offense and through the skill positions, talk about Braxton Miller and eventually Carlos Hyde, Jordan Hall, and Evan Spencer. I mean, the names keep coming and coming and coming on the offensive side of the ball. You're returning 4 starters on the offensive linemen that are going to be seniors and 1 just monster in the Taylor Decker. How can you not be excited for this season? Now, there are some questions about some depth and obviously some of these suspensions and how they're going to play out. But right now, everyone is looking at 12-0.
We're very happy to have Matt Finkes and Obi Stillwell back with us for the season. And we've expanded our roster, adding a couple of other Buckeyes, former punter Ben Buchanan and lineman Jimmy Bell. They joined the crew. But first, let's go out to Ohio Stadium and bring in ABC6 Sports Director Clay Hall and, of course, Obi Stillwell. Welcome, guys.
Oh, my goodness. Welcome to the 2013 season. My partner, Obi Stillwell, resplendent as always. By the way, it's going to be about a 2-towel sweat day over there. This is going to be fantastic. What's your thoughts on 2013?
Oh, you know what? I'm excited about this season. Here's the difference is we have a lot of expectations. I think 12-0 was almost shocking to a lot of people. But this year, 12-0 is expected.
Do you know how long I've wanted to say, let's go to team arrival, baby. Let's check at Urban Meyer and his forces as they got in here just a few minutes ago. Urban has caught fire in the second year of his tenure at most schools. They got way ahead of themselves last year with that 12-0 run. This is the number 2 team in the country, arriving just a few minutes ago in the shoe. I love this entrance, the formal line, the gauntlet you go through to look your head coach in the eye. What was that season opener like for you briefly?
Well, you know what? It's just a lot of confidence. There's a lot of excitement. You're actually tired of hitting your own guys. You know what I'm saying? You want to hit somebody of opposite jersey. And I think it's just confidence was the biggest thing.
So I asked Urban about his offense. They scored 37 points a game last season. So, Coach, what's the number? I know you've got a goal. What is it?
One more than the team we're playing.
40, 45?
I don't know. I do like to score. I'd like to have an offense that scores a lot of points. Our job is to win the game, take care of the football, but we also emphasize scoring a lot of points.
Indeed, 34, Carlos Hyde is out today, suspended for 3 games, but there is plenty of power left in the tank. And as Doug mentioned, a little foreshadowing, we have added to the squad this season just the power-packed pork chop sideburns, 6'6", 300. This big guy made his debut on the Penn State pregame show a year ago. Yes. Obi scouted you. He said, I like what this guy can bring.
Right.
The defensive end, number 95 in your program, number 1 in your hearts, Jimmy, for whom the bell tolls. Jimmy Bell, pound me, brother.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. But I'll tell everyone, you know what? Sometimes this does pay off. Sometimes that does pay off.
No, you don't. You're keeping him in line. You can't be. You're my muscle for this guy. What are you doing?
We've talked about that, and Obi and I are very similar. So aside from the muscle to keep Obi in line, we need a muzzle. The same thing for me.
Let's talk about your Ohio State experience, number 95. What do those years mean to you, Jimmy?
Listen, I always go across the country doing speaking engagements and such, and I actually get extra excited like a little kid again because I had a unique experience of being what they call Coach Cooper's first big-time class. So if you could imagine, I came in with the likes of Corey Stringer, Lorenzo Styles, Ty Howard, and those fellas. So the life lessons that I learned from them the life lessons that I've learned from like the Raymond Harrises and the Butler Bonotes and the guys in front of me, and then even the guys behind me like the Finkeses and the Vraves and the Stanley Jackson. I mean, the things that I'm prepared for now moving on in life is tremendous.
Are you a little skeptic about this defense quickly?
Well, yeah, a little bit, because it's new. It's kind of like in the NFL. You get the big-time guy. He comes in as the substitute. He's doing this thing. Everybody loves him. He gets the big-time contract. Now he's the guy,
right?
And he never lives up to expectations. Right. There is a transition mentally, not physically, but there is a transition mentally to taking that next step of leadership. You're the guy. You're responsible. We need you to make plays.
We got it locked down on defense. I got the DN. I got my man in the middle. We'll be back in a few, fellas. Back to the studio.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. We'll check back with you in a few moments. 3 key players for the Buckeyes will sit out the season opener. The punishment for some off-season issues. Tailback Carlos Hyde is suspended for the first 3 games for his involvement in a minor altercation at a Columbus bar last month. All Big Ten cornerback Bradley Roby out for 1 game for a similar incident outside a bar in Indiana. And backup tailback Rod Smith is also suspended for 1 game for violating a team rule back in February. Freshman tight end Marcus Ball will serve a 1-game suspension as well for underage drinking. Matt, evidence showed that neither Hyde nor Roby were the aggressors in their altercations, but Urban Meyer sent a message to a couple of guys who were supposed to be team leaders this season, suspending them for being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
And that's exactly why those guys were suspended. I mean, you can't put yourself in that position. When you come to Ohio State, you know that you're in the fishbowl. You know that all eyes are going to be on you. And a lot of times, just not being there is what you need to do. I mean, regardless of the actions that you take, regardless of the actions that someone else takes, just not being in that position is a lot of times what you need to do, and that's the message that he sent. Now, the Hyde and Smith suspensions aren't going to affect this team very much because Jordan Hall is a guy that I'm excited about seeing, hopefully injury-free for an entire season, being able to come in, do a lot of great things from the running back position and from that H-back position. The one that kind of concerns me, though, is Bradley Roby. You've got a young guy in Armani Reeves who's going to have to step in now and get some quality playing time, and behind him, if something should happen, you've got some true freshmen. So maybe a little bit of concern on the defensive side of the ball. The Hyde and Smith suspensions really not going to affect this team that much.
Yeah, no, by the way, we are playing Buffalo. So
well, that
I
helps.
think we could miss a few players for this one. Let's go back out to campus now. Welcome in Maria Durant via the Subway fan cam. Good morning, Maria.
Well, good morning, guys. Definitely ready to celebrate with my Buckeye fans here. We are ready to rock and roll. We're going to start with a little bit of music by Eugene here. Look at that. Definitely having a lot of fun here today. And this year on the Football Fever, we're going to start a brand new segment, and it all centers around your questions. Take a look. It's Football 101, the Football Fever way. This past week, for the first time.
Thank you for being here tonight. I'm Clay Hall.
TFF hosted a group of women in Studio B, giving them the opportunity to get the inside scoop from former Buckeye defensive end Matt Finkes and former linebacker Obi Stillwell, and to learn more than just the X's and O's about football.
We've got 31 giveaways tonight.
The night started with a raffle. 038. Prizes handed out with lots of winners.
That's what we was looking for. Yeah.
And then using 6 cameras around the studio, including a jib, our production team recorded the clinic.
And 3, shoot me, who's going to talk?
And the questions we'll be using throughout the season.
Show the lady as well, 9, please.
Questions range from wondering about plays to opinions on players and coaches.
A lot of them yell 180, and then there are other numbers they yell out. What does that mean? And are there any other penalties where they stop the play?
When Braxton gets ready to pass, is one guy already the designated receiver? Specifically Urban, what is his strategy for getting them pumped up to go back out?
No topic off limits, just Buckeye fans wanting to learn more about the game they love. So now starting next week, we're going to highlight those questions that came from that football clinic. And I got to tell you, some of those ladies really did have a lot of good questions. So we'll have those answers every week throughout the season. But right now, I love this weather, Bill Kelly.
I'm telling you, how's everyone doing? You know, those clouds cleared out. They had the storms this morning.
Right.
And then it was clear. But check it out, Drew Jones, if you would, just in the last 10 minutes or so.
It looks great.
Yep, we have a few clouds that have developed. We're going to hopefully dodge some of these storms this afternoon. But, you know, we're keeping our fingers crossed.
I know, I saw you spraying your daughter with suntan.
I
Where's our sunscreen?
You've got to wear the sunscreen even with the clouds. Let me show you the maps. We have a few clouds that are starting to float by. We do have that chance of showers into the afternoon. But let me go ahead and show you our forecast. We're into the 80s, mid to upper 80s, with that chance for showers and thunderstorms as we get on into the day. And before we leave you, I didn't realize, guys, that they have actual cheerleaders out here. I found the head cheerleader. Can you give us the prediction for the game?
Well, maybe it's, well, I'm saying maybe, but like our team, the Buckeyes, maybe like 35.
35, that's a good score.
And the other team like 24.
Okay, well, that sounds great. Wrap it up, and why don't you give them the cheer? Go.
Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Oh, wait.
Back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. A future cheerleader there.
Yeah.
The Buckeyes begin the season ranked second in the nation behind two-time defending national champion Alabama, but the Tide gets 58 first-place votes in the AP balloting to just one first-place vote for Ohio State. Rounding out the top 5 are Oregon, Stanford, and Georgia, which also got a first-place vote. Notre Dame checks in at number 14. 5 Big Ten teams ranked in the top 25, along with Ohio State. Michigan checks in at number 17, followed by Nebraska at 18. Northwestern is 22nd, one spot ahead of Wisconsin. The Buckeyes' first 2 conference games are home against Wisconsin, followed by a road trip to Northwestern. So, Matt, the Buckeyes will find out early how they stack up in the Big Ten.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Wisconsin's going to rebound from a new coaching staff, losing Monty Ball, losing their quarterback. A lot of different things going on there with Wisconsin. But you got to think, as Barry Alvarez remains the athletic director, that he's going to keep that ship in the right direction. Northwestern is a team with 10 wins last year. They're looking to come back and get to another bowl game and contend for a Big Ten title this year. So 2 good games early on the schedule.
Absolutely. As always, we want to hear from you on the Football Fever. We welcome your comments via Twitter or Facebook. And handling our social media is the newest member of the Football Fever team, former Ohio State punter Ben Buchanan. Welcome aboard, Ben.
I'll tell you what, guys, I'm excited to be here. I'm going to be doing a little bit of Twitter, a little bit of Facebook. We want your comments. Also talking a little ball as well. I had a chance to sit down with the king of college football, as he's known here in Columbus, Kirk Herbstreit. I wanted to know what Braxton Miller had to do to take his game to the next level. Let's take a listen.
We know about his dynamic playmaking ability. He might be one of the most dangerous people in the country when he has a ball in his hands. But he's really spent a lot of time in his offseason at trying to become a more complete passer, more consistent with his footwork. And I think that's the thing for fans to really watch. If there's something you want to watch with Braxton, it's watching his footwork allow him to be more accurate as a passer. I've seen this guy play since he was in high school. There's no questioning the guy's arm strength. But it's more about being a very athletic guy that wants to create, and at the same time, a guy that can be polished as a passer, and that's where he's worked very diligently, and I think that's where you're going to see the most improvement in his game.
Kurt, give us a guy that's maybe under the radar starting this year, but could have a big coming out party for Ohio State in 2013.
I'm anxious to see what Dontre Wilson can do. I think he brings the big playability that Ohio State's been looking for within this offense, not just putting it on Braxton, his shoulders, but I think Dontre Wilson is a guy I'm looking forward to watching to see what he can do.
Finally, can Urban and the guys go SEC, honey?
We'll see. I think Alabama and Ohio State play in the national championship, so if they get that opportunity, it'll be a lot of fun to see them in that game.
I think it's very exciting. I think that's the question everyone wants to know. How are we going to do against the SEC? We got to take care of Buffalo in game 1. So we'll see, guys. Back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Ben. Ben will be back with our Roush Honda Social Spotlight with your thoughts. Send us your comments on our Facebook page at facebook.com/WSYXABC6 or tweet us at @TheFeverABC6 with the hashtag TFF. If we feature your comment on the show, you'll get an Ohio State fan mug. It's a can and bottle cooler, mug, and desk caddy all in one. Coming up on the Football Fever, Clay Hall goes one-on-one with Ohio State head coach Urban Meyer, and Clay heads down to the farm for a conversation with Ohio State tight ends coach Tim Hinton. The first Ohio State tailgate of the season, the fans already in midseason form. The Buckeyes looking to take down the Bulls at high noon. Sounds like a good name for a Western, and if they're casting for Cowboys, our Clay Hall is ready for his audition. Let's go back out to Ohio Stadium and join Circle Clay.
Thank you, brother. I'm going to take Obi to the farm right now. I had heard of Tim Hinton's family farm, horse farm near Lancaster, and the number of Division I coaches he's had kind of take a ride out into the country. Wow. Mark D'Antonio, Cowboy Urban Meyer has been there. The Ohio State tight ends coach said, come on down, we'll saddle her up. Have you ever been on a horse?
I haven't. I haven't.
Today's the day. Today is the day. Let me tell you, there's nothing like a little slow trail ride to make you forget your troubles. Just a few miles southwest of Lancaster is the Hinton family farm. 240 acres, plenty of room to spread out, and there aren't many of these left.
When people come here, they kind of like just being relaxed, you know, and they feel the sense of what country can bring you.
After a quick meet and greet with Josie, we saddled her up. And off we went on a 2-hour adventure.
I mean, like, she doesn't buck and kick, and she won't do any of that stuff. But she's a little ornery at times. You know what I mean? It's like coaching. You know, have a little bit of demeanor to your voice. You know, hey, now, whoa, whoa. Now, Clay, I got a quiz for you. What is this right here?
Soybeans.
Oh, good for you.
Coach Hinton compares training horses to training young players. Something about the attention span.
Like this ear can go here and this ear can go there, which unlike people, right? I said it's like coaching kids. They have one ear listening to you, and then you have the other ear out listening to everything else out around them. Kind of maneuver that tree. It's not a thorn tree. You're good. I don't know about you, Clay, but I can do this all the time right here. Look at this.
Coach was especially excited to see us traverse a little water. The crick, he calls it.
Yeah! Get that on film, I hope? That's pretty cool stuff right there, isn't it? I don't care how you cut it. That's always cool on a horse. Clay, how you doing, Becky? You seem a little nervous. Hardest place to work a horse is nearest barn, because they want to go home. Just put her nose right up to the hitching post.
Okay.
It's great to have you out here. You did a nice job. Great stuff.
I enjoyed the heck
Absolutely.
out of that.
It was awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah, thanks for being on the Football Fever.
No problem. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed it.
I'll be back.
Please do.
All right, and I'm coming back with these two. I don't know if we can find horses big enough, but I got to tell you, I just didn't feel right riding the horse in a ball cap, even though it was my Woody cap, my prize Woody cap. I got to tell you, fellas.
This is your Tim McGraw edition. You know, you got to look at the break in the front and the break in the back. This is Tim McGraw. He knows what I'm talking about.
Let me tell you, the Hinton family farm, for Christmas, they have 55 people around a couple of tables, and I told Coach,
wow,
that's a meal I want to have.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm
saying?
saying?
That's love. That's family right there.
Yeah, yeah. All right, I tell you, fellas, you can't match this. You can't touch this.
What you guys have over there?
Yeah, what you got?
Hey, you gave us no notice. We're going to have our cowboy hats next week, okay, guys? Thanks a lot,
beautiful
partners.
Ben.
Yeah, thanks a lot, partners. We'll mosey on back to you a little later in the show. But right now, it's time for the Dodge-Ram matchup. Former Ohio State punter Ben Buchanan breaks down the Buckeyes and the Bulls.
All right, Buckeye fans, it's Ohio State football. I don't know what could be better than that. We're talking about the matchup of the weekend, Ohio State Buckeyes versus the University of Buffalo. Check this out. I'm the new guy. I guess I get the new toys. Very exciting here on the Fever. Going to get to talk about some offense, defense, special teams, coaching staff, as well as a final prediction here today. When you look at the two offenses, I like Ohio State. You talk about a guy like Braxton Miller. He's just a phenomenal player, a Heisman Trophy candidate. I think he's going to be a great player this year for Ohio State, number 5. Dontre Wilson, one of the newcomers. I think he's going to be phenomenal. Had a chance to watch him at practice. Flames coming from this guy's foot. Unbelievable watching him run the ball. I think he's going to be phenomenal as well. Defense, I like Ohio State as well. Have to mention Khalil Mack, number 46 for Buffalo. He's been as high as number 2 on some of the draft boards for the linebacker position for this upcoming NFL draft. We know we have a pretty good linebacker ourselves, Ryan Shazier. I'm going to look for him to have a big year, as well as Noah Spence, Adolphus Washington, some young guys that I think could be very good at defense this year. Talking about special teams, I like Ohio State here. The Buckeyes had to go down under to replace me, actually. I was the punter the last 3 years. We have a new guy in town, Cameron Johnston, number 95. Watch this guy. I had a chance to see him at practice. Got a big-time leg. Really excited to watch him punt the ball this year and change some field position. That's huge, as we know in football. Talking about Drew Basil, I think he's a phenomenal kicker coming into his senior year. Looking for a big year from Drew as well. The two coaching staffs, we have Jeff Quinn and Urban Meyer. I got to go Urban Meyer. Had a chance to play for him last year. He's the man here in Columbus. Had a chance to give me this 12-0 ring that I'm repping today. Very excited to take a look at that. Man, it just shines more every day, I think, now. So excited for these guys in 2013. I think it's going to be a great year. Looking at our final predictions, I'm going to be bold. I'm going to say Ohio State defeats Buffalo 65-3 in the Horseshoe. I'm Ben Buchanan, and that was your Dodge Ram matchup.
Wow, big score. Thanks a lot, Ben. Speaking of Buffalo, we'll learn more about the Bulls coming up next on The Football Fever. But first, the beat begins as the Ohio State University Marching Band arrives at this morning's Skull Session at St. John Arena. Stay with us. Welcome back to The Football Fever. Ohio State looking to run college football's longest current winning streak to 13 straight. The Buckeyes and the Bulls kick it off at high noon. Buffalo a 34.5-point underdog this afternoon. But as Nathan Baker tells us, the Bulls, well, they don't see it that way.
The Buffalo Bulls are well aware of Ohio State's talent.
You know, they went undefeated last year. Coach Myers says that this year's team is right on track, if not even further along than they were a year ago.
Buffalo is a huge underdog, but in their minds, they're anything but.
The mission is to go in and beat Ohio State this weekend.
With 9 starters back on defense, linebacker Khalil Mack, a projected first-round NFL pick, leads a veteran squad.
I feel like our actions have to speak way louder than our words and everything else, and that's what we plan on doing this weekend, showing that we can play great defense.
On offense, senior receiver Alex Newitz is the top target, and he says all the pressure is on OSU.
We're just going out there to play a game, do our best, and try to pull off a big win that no one in the nation expects us to do. So it just lets us relax and really just go and play our game.
Buffalo's right. This is the first time these two programs have played, but with a dozen Ohioans on the roster, they know all about the tradition and know what would come with pulling off a huge upset.
They're ranked number 2, so somebody thinks they're pretty good. So you knock them off, you just beat the number 2 team, and that's our mindset.
With the Buffalo Bulls, I'm Nathan Baker for The Football Fever.
Thank you, Nathan. Khalil Mack is the real deal. 6'3", 250-pounder, has 56 career tackles for loss. The Buckeyes will have to watch out for that.
Yeah,
guy.
as mentioned, he's a guy who's in the top 3, top 5 on a lot of guys' big boards. Mel Kiper, Todd McShay. He's a guy that you're going to have to look out for. He's got the size, speed, and physical ability to cause some big problems for the Buckeyes up front. You're going to have to rely on Hall and Lindsey and Norwell in there, those veteran interior defensive linemen, to try to contain him and to keep him out of the backfield, keep him off of Jordan Hall and Carlos Hyde.
All right, the Buckeye Football Fever. Yeah, him too.
Carlos Hyde won't be there.
The Football Fever continues right after this.
The chase for it all, the chase to improve, the chase for the win, refusing to lose, the chase for the dream, the chase to the top, the chase with your team, the chase for the spot. Come on. If I can't do it, baby, no one can. The chase to be champion got me setting the pace. If I can't do it, baby, no one can. 'Cause it's the love of the thrill and it's the thrill of the chase. Everybody better get up on their mark.
Big thanks to FBA for providing us with their song, The Chase, and photojournalist Aaron Nestor for that great video. Matt, The Chase begins about 30 minutes from now.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, as much anticipation as there was last year for Urban Meyer and making his debut, I think there's more this year. When you talk about coming off a 12-0 season, having the guys back that we've got back, the skill players, the Dontre Wilsons, the guys coming in as freshmen, the Adolphus Washingtons, the Noah Spences on defense and what they're going to be able to do, and just how the schedule sets up for the Buckeyes, the anticipation of going, 23, 24, 25-0 is definitely right there for Ohio State. And as, like I said, as much as was going on last year, more this year. Urban has set himself up with a 12-0 season last year to have a lot of pressure on him this year as well.
Absolutely. It's a hot one out there. ABC 6 chief meteorologist Bill Kelly is back from outside Ohio Stadium with the OSU Wexner Medical Center game day forecast. Bill.
Tell you what, guys, it's a little sticky outside right now. The clouds have started to build up. Showers are still in our forecast, but for now, things are looking good. How's everybody doing? Right. Go Bucks, we're getting excited, and I'm actually hanging out with my buddy Ryan McGill. Ryan, how you doing?
Good.
What's your favorite part about Buckeye football?
Probably when they score a touchdown.
That's always a good thing, isn't it? Now, you've been into a game before, right? So here's what we got to do now. They're playing Buffalo. why don't you give me your expert opinion as to how this game is going to end up?
I think that Ohio State's going to win by a lot.
Oh, a lot. How many do you think?
About 4 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns. So we're talking, 20, 30 points. More than that. Well, it'll be at least 24 points if it's 4 touchdowns. All right, so very good. I appreciate that. A little hot and sticky out here. Let me show you what's going on in terms of our maps. We have a few clouds that have developed. It's, again, pretty sticky. We're going to see these showers develop this afternoon. They're going to be passing on by. We're still waiting to see whether or not they're going to go over the horseshoe. We're hoping not, of course. If it does, here's the glass half full way to look at things. It will cool things down temporarily. But, yeah, scattered showers are going to be in the area today. So when we look at your Buckeye forecast game, temperature-wise, guys, it is just going to be very steamy out there. High temperatures into the upper 80s today. You see everybody around are in shorts and T-shirts. That's what you're going to want. I said last night on the news to bring your poncho. I still recommend it. I mean, obviously, if you're watching this, you're probably not going to be at the game. Unless you're watching this from tailgating. A lot of TVs going on here. Take your poncho into the thing, put it in your pocket, just to be on the safe side, but hopefully we will dodge some of those showers. Now, you've told me it is your lifelong dream to lead an Ohio cheer, correct? All right, here we go. You guys all ready? Ryan and I are going to do it. 3, 2, 1. OH! 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 Live from the shoe, guys. We'll send it on back to you.
Bye. All righty, thanks a lot, Bill. The Big Ten is out to a 3-0 start to the season. Indiana and Minnesota opening in convincing fashion Thursday night. Michigan State beat Western Michigan last night. We have 4 noon kickoffs today. In addition to Ohio State, Purdue travels to Cincinnati. Illinois hosts Southern Illinois, and Wisconsin takes on UMass in Madison. At 3:30, it's Iowa playing host to Northern Illinois. Michigan plays Central Michigan at the Big House, and Penn State opens at Syracuse. 2 night games on the schedule. Nebraska's home against Wyoming at 8, and Northwestern is on the left coast for a 10:30 kickoff against California. Let's go back out to Ohio Stadium now. Rejoin Clay Hall, who had a chance to chat with Urban Meyer this week. Clay?
I'm going to throw some numbers at you here, Doug. Ohio State has the nation's longest winning streak at 12. Woody and company have the school record at 22. Wow. It's conceivable after 10 wins. You're playing Indiana right here to extend that streak to go 23-0. He's excited as anybody about this opener as Urban Meyer. What do you think he's most excited about?
You know what, honestly, I think he's most excited about seeing how these freshmen actually react to the horseshoe.
I asked Urban, is it a little different around the Woody this week? Listen in.
It changes on game week, and this is why we do what we do. I tell our players it's their payday, the reason we work so hard.
You've gushed about Dontre Wilson. Ever since you've been here, you looking for Percy Harvin. Is this the closest thing to Harvin since you got here?
That's probably not fair to Dontre. You know, Jordan Hall has provided a little bit of a spark as far as a space player. Philly Brown has grown into be a very good space player. So there's more weapons than we had a year ago.
It seems to me back in the day, Craig Krenzel and Troy Smith to some extent had a little latitude. At least as seniors, had a little leeway.
Sure.
Have you given Braxton the keys to that car?
Yeah.
In what
certainly
ways?
Is. Well, not so much checking plays. Sometimes quarterbacks, for example, and Alex Smith had really his last year at any time could change a play. We're more of an up-tempo team, so he's going to have some built-in things that he can go to.
You scored 37 points a game last year. What's the number? There's got to be a goal
more
in
than
there.
more than the team are playing. That's it. One more than the team are playing.
40, 45?
I don't know. I do like to score. I'd like to have an offense that scores a lot of points.
We've hired Ben Buchanan, Jimmy Bell, who played for Coop, big D lineman. What's your TV advice for a young Ben Buchanan, your old punter?
Well, I love Ben Buchanan. I think my advice, and someone gave it to me, was just be himself. He's a wonderful person. He's articulates very well. I think you hired a great person.
As you get set for this week, you've joined Twitter. What possessed Urban Meyer to do that?
I think a positive message. I think something about recruiting. And the guy that did it, amazingly enough, was Bob Stoops. Called me 2 days ago. I said, "What are you doing with us?" I said, "Nothing. I'm not Facebook, nothing, Twitter, nothing. Old-fashioned, get on the phone." And he started talking to me about it. And so I said, "Let's try it."
I tell you what, I really didn't expect Oklahoma coach Bob Stoops to be kind of the advertiser for Twitter. Coach is on there. in 3-4 days, he's at 35,000 followers, and I'm sure it's going to blow up today. Hey, you got to endorse the social media. Anything else there that struck you? Maybe Dontre, the kid that's supposed to do it all today?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, it's a little different than last season where we weren't, there's a lot of question marks as far as receivers. I think we have a strong receiving core coming back with Evan Spencer. You got Philly Brown. You got Chris Fields. You got these different players. But, you know, Coach Herman said he's going to sprinkle in Dontre Wilson. But, I got 3 kids. So you give a kid with 2 kids, my kids ice cream, one with sprinkles and one without sprinkles, them sprinkles become very serious, okay? I think him saying Dontre Wilson sprinkled in, I think that means a lot.
Absolutely.
Expect that kid to get the ball a lot.
Well, Ezekiel Elliott's going to want to be sprinkled in as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Everybody wants a little shot. But the good thing about it is this year, the foundation has been grounded and rooted. Coach Myers and the fellas are going to have fun coaching. The players are going to have fun playing. And now the young guys can come in and actually have fun and follow the older guys. That's what's going to be really exciting.
You're exactly right. The foundation is laid. Everybody knows the playbook. Like you said, those receivers have been established. They've earned their right. Yes. It's time to move on. But these freshmen, let me tell you, keep your eye on them.
Yeah,
fellas, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Myers says he wants to see good fundamentals in the opener today. Blocking, tackling, football position, things he did not see in the season opener last year against Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you saw the tackling was an issue all throughout the season last year. That happens a lot when you got guys not reacting but thinking a little bit. That little hesitation, that half second puts you out of position. Then you're not ready to tackle. I think with the experience of the offensive line, he is going to expect those guys to come out, not missed assignments, not missed blocks. This first game of the year is always notorious for kind of these stupid penalties, some of the false starts, the misalignments, the illegal formations. Urban Meyer wants to eliminate all those penalties, get these guys thinking and being sharp right out of the gate, because I'll tell you what, if there was one big flaw last year, it was the slow start by the Buckeye teams. I mean, each game you came out was maybe just a 7-0 lead. I think against Cal we were down 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. Got to eliminate these slow starts, and you got to be crisp when you come out of the locker room if you want to contend for a national title.
As always, we want to hear your thoughts here on the Football Fever, and to help us do that is former Buckeye punter Ben Buchanan, who joins us again with the Roush Honda Social Media Spotlight. Ben.
Buckeye fans, we want to hear what you have to say on Facebook and Twitter. Today, looking at the Football Fever on Facebook, we asked, what are your expectations for the Buckeyes this season? Got some comments for you here. Right off the bat, national champs and a Heisman. We have a guy like Braxton Miller. My money's on him. I think he could do a great job and win the Heisman this year. Take a look at our next comment. It's simple. Win the whole thing and send a message to the rest of the country, especially the SEC. I know we want to beat those guys down in the SEC. I know I do. Taking a look at our last one, national championship. I think that's what we want to see, the big ring for those guys. I can tell you from being in that locker room last year, these guys are hungry for a national championship run in 2013. You heard it here. OHIO. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Ben. We want to hear from you on the Football Fever. Send us your comments on our Facebook page at facebook.com/WSYX-ABC6, or you can also tweet us at the Fever ABC6 with the hashtag TFF. That's a mouthful. If we feature your comment or question on the show, you will get an Ohio State fan mug. It's a cannon bottle cooler mug.
And desk caddy all in one.
That's the fan mug. All right, after hitting each other for 3 weeks in the preseason camp, the Buckeyes are licking their chops to hit an opponent this afternoon when they kick off the season against Buffalo. Meanwhile, Ohio State fans are licking their chops for another reason. Maria Durant tells us why. Maria?
Hey guys, when you are at the shoe, well, definitely it's all about tailgating and about the food. I've got Jose here, and what are you cooking up, Jose?
We're cooking fried bologna, hot dogs, and chicken sausages.
Oh, it looks delicious.
Delicious. Okay.
And when you Buckeye fans head to the shoe this year, well, there's a brand new menu, and you're gonna love it. Take a look. The new football season comes with a new culinary experience for Buckeye fans.
Good.
A tasty spread to satisfy your palate. Doesn't it look delicious?
It's completely revamped menu all throughout our sweets packages, all throughout our concessions areas.
No need to order an ordinary hot dog. Now they can come garnished with coleslaw or chili cheese.
Yeah.
The new
edibles aren't just for those in the suites. Some of these items can be purchased in the concession stands too, such as a 2-pound pretzel for $4 and smoked buffalo chicken.
We're offering scratch-made food, right, freshest ingredients right out of the kitchen. The chef is much more involved in the concession stand product.
And the taste?
Now the tough part of my job, to taste.
We've got a salsa rojo, we've got some queso fresco.
Thank you. What else can we get? And how about a crab cake? Let's go taste. I can't eat all of this. I'll share this with my photographer.
It's delicious. But don't take my word for it.
Oh, I can't eat anything else.
Let's ask Athletic Director Gene Smith. Together we tried the Buckeye O-Witch. It's melted chocolate and peanut butter served warm between French toast slices.
Like dessert, this is way off my diet.
Mine too.
It's way off my diet. It's unbelievable. Now I gotta need to go home and see if my wife can make this.
Gene Smith, what a guy. You know, it's all about the food. I really do have a rough job. This is the chicken hot dog, so I'm going to taste that too. Why not? Oh, it's hot. Back to you guys.
Somebody get her a glass of water. Thanks, Maria. Now it's time for the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Toss-Up. A new feature on the Football Fever. Our experts will discuss some of the hot topics of the week. Matt Finkes and Ben Buchanan are here in the studio. We're also joined by Obi Stillwell and Jimmy Bell outside Ohio Stadium. The first topic, the team captains. Earlier this week, Urban Meyer announced that 8 players will serve as team captains. Is that too many? Matt and Ben, we start with you.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think it is. I think that, you know, leadership has been an issue for him, and he's made it public that it's an issue. It's kind of that old adage, if you got 2 quarterbacks, you really don't have any. If you've got 8 captains, do you really have a captain or a leader? You know, that's a question I have.
Absolutely. I'm going to add to that. You know, I remember when I was a freshman, I had a guy like James Laurinaitis that you're going to look up to. It's an accountability factor for me. I want to see guys that are going to step up. You want those 3, 4, 5 guys, in my opinion, that you can look to. They're locking arms, going out for the coin toss. I think we're going to have to have some good leadership guys step up this year now. I do.
Obi and Jimmy, what do you guys think?
Well, you know what? I kind of understand where Coach Meyer's coming from. I believe that your leadership actually emerges throughout the season. So picking 8 and then naming the 4, probably I'm assuming he's going to name 2 on offense, 2 on the defense towards the end of the season. I get what he's doing, but you know what? I would have picked 4 at the beginning.
Yeah. He's sending a message to even his team. Second year, you know, we did such a good job last year. We can't forget this is his second year. He's setting his tone with another coach's players. So he's still tossing it up in the air, saying these are our expectations. And listen, if you want it, go get it. I don't have a problem with it.
All right, our second question. This season, the NCAA is adding a much stiffer penalty for targeting. Now, the rule hasn't changed, Matt, but the penalty has in a big way.
Yeah, the penalty is now you could possibly be ejected from the game. And I'll tell you what, this is something that we saw come up on Thursday night. A player was ejected from the game. I understand, obviously, with the NFL with concussions. You know, I think that the NFL and the minor leagues are doing a good job, or the little leagues, you know, with the heads-up program. I don't know if this was necessary. I mean, this is something that can really change the course of a game. You eliminate one of your best defenders in the first quarter, that changes the entire scope of the game.
Absolutely. That's what they want to do. They want to limit the targeting. That's what it's called. Concussions are a big deal in football. Being a punter, I don't know if I know the most about that, but I'll leave it to these guys to talk about it a little. But it is
somebody hit you probably once.
Once or twice. I got once or twice. Absolutely. It is a hot topic, though. There's a lot of debate about it.
Yeah, they're not going to be targeting your foot, Ben. Obi and Jimmy, what do you think about the new targeting penalty?
Jimmy, I'll let you go first.
Well, beautiful Ben, I'm with you. You keep your toes protected, buddy. You don't want your.
That's right, baby. That's right.
You're so pretty. You don't want to mess your toes up. But it's an overreaction. You know, starting from the top, from the NFL down. I think it's almost an experimentation overreaction. It'll change next year. It will affect some games this year, and they will make an adjustment next year.
I'm sorry. I believe it's necessary. It's extremely necessary because of the concussions that the NFL and actually even at a college level the players have been experiencing. But my concern is that it's so hard to measure intent. And I think some of what they're trying to kind of weed out is the intentional targeting and putting your head down and the spearing. So it's necessary. I'm not sure about how they're going about it, but I'm glad that they're doing something about it.
All right, guys, certainly it's going to be something to watch out for because, as Matt said, you can't lose some of your key players on defense. Time to move on. The keys to the game are coming up on the Football Fever. But first, one last check of the Ohio State Marching Band from this morning's Skull Session. Welcome back to the Football Fever. Let's go right out to Ohio Stadium for Clay and Obi's Greater Columbus Kia Retailers keys to the game. Guys?
We love this moment.
Yes.
Soak up this moment. Number one, we've been talking about it for the entire 60 minutes. Young Bucks, my friend.
Yeah, hey, Dontre Wilson, Ezekiel Elliott, I mean, come on. Those guys, that's going to be exciting. That's the sprinkle that Coach Herman was talking about earlier.
Yeah, Ezekiel Elliott. Don't forget about this guy, number 15. Keep your eye on him. Joey Bosa, another guy, 97, off the edge.
And a freshman punter. We'll see what he's going to do.
Number 2 is 13. What are we talking about?
Well, 13. I mean, everybody's talking about the winning streak. You got to get. We're at 12. You got to get to 13.
The lucky 13.
Right.
And number 3. I guess I'm playing off the heat here. It is one heck of a winning is cool, my friend.
Winning is cool, and you know what? It's easier to take that cold tub after a win.
There you go. Oh, you'd stay in there all day.
Right? Oh, yeah. You'd stay in there all day after a day like this.
Those are the Columbus Kia Retailers keys to the game. Fellas, back to you.
Hey, thanks a lot. I don't know why those guys are hot. It's kind of cool here.
No, I feel all right.
What's up with
I'm
that?
good.
We'll put a wrap on the Football Fever with some final thoughts right after this. Ohio State and Buffalo kick it off just moments from now at the Horseshoe. Let's send it back out to Clay, Obi, and Jimmy for their final thoughts. Guys?
Well, I think Ohio State is going to ride the Buffalo Bulls better than Ty Murray. That dude, 8 seconds on the back of a bull, no problem. I go back to a thing Ben told me earlier this week when he was out of practice, the speed, it's glaring, and I think we're going to see it.
Yeah, I think so. And you know what? Here's the exciting part, too. Braxton Miller probably won't be our leading rusher this year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Which is a good thing.
Which is a good thing. Coach Meyer said if he's a leading rusher this season, then something went wrong.
Jimmy?
And me, I know we have the speed. Coach Myers is speed first, but are we going to be stout on the defensive line? Adolphus, I know his mom is going to love me for getting that right.
Adolphus Washington.
Adolphus Washington. He's going to be one of the key factors for the game, game today.
Fellas, breaking news from what I'm understanding, late injury report. What do you got?
C.J. Barnett, he's going to miss the game as well. So you got Bradley Roby out. You got your 2 starting cornerbacks. That leaves 9 new players on defense the Buckeyes will field today.
Well, Corey Brown is going to fill in for him at safety. Got a lot of playing experience. But this was something that kind of, you heard about it breaking a little bit last night, an ankle injury. Not a severe one, but enough to keep him on the sidelines and make sure that he's healthy going into week 2 and week 3. Yeah, I agree. I think that obviously the defensive line is going to be something that you're going to look for. Group of young guys, very talented, but you don't know exactly how you're going to react that first time with 100,000 people raining down on you in scarlet and gray. So that'll be something that'll be interesting to see, and just how crisp this offense can be, I think.
Ben, what do you think?
I think we're excited to see how the offense is going to perform. The defense, there are some question marks. I'm anxious to see the new punter, Cameron Johnson, see how he's going to do today. I got to bring in the special teams, man.
Yeah,
You know that. Come on.
He's a good one, too. I saw him out of practice, man. The guy has a live foot.
He's got a live leg.
Can absolutely kick it, man. It's unbelievable.
And Braxton Miller, he needs, I think, about 95 yards to become the all-time leading rushing quarterback at Ohio State. He's going to pass Cornelius Green. This guy, he's the leading contender for the Heisman. And, you know, we've only seen, I would say, 50 to 70% of what Braxton Miller can do. Now, another year with working with that coaching staff, and you got a guy who can play within himself. sheer talent has carried him this far. Let's be honest.
And I think that right now what you're going to see is Braxton Miller and Tom Herman working in concert to call a game that Braxton feels really comfortable in. We saw a lot of plays last year where Braxton was indecisive, didn't know exactly what to do. This next year of experience has really got that game plan tightened up where they know each other, they know what Braxton's going to do well, they know what he's not going to be so comfortable in doing, and they're going to call those plays that he can execute every down.
Absolutely. I can tell you, being at practice just a couple months ago, I mean, these guys are fast, they're running around. Number 5 is electric, we know that. Let's go beat Buffalo.
Here's an interesting stat, I think. Going into last season, his first season at Ohio State, Urban Meyer said he had an offensive line that was dysfunctional. He had a receiving core that was a clown show.
Yes.
As we mentioned, a quarterback who hasn't come into himself. Oh, by the way, they scored 60 touchdowns, and that is the 4th most in any season in OSU history, and he didn't have his guys in there. So look for it. That's going to do it for us. Ohio State and Buffalo kicking off in just a few minutes on ESPN2. Join us at 7 for the Football Fever post-game show with reaction from the Buckeye players and head coach Urban Meyer. Until then, for everybody here, enjoy the game, everybody.